Japan's population is vanishing, but can artificial intelligence help save it? Let's talk about it.
Perhaps the robots can save us from the robots. Matchmaking events, traditionally known as konkatsu, Andrew, but they're combining that with AI. So the events are happening in different local zones. The government is giving them money to subsidize it for the konkatsu company.
You mean this is in-person dating?
This is in-person dating, but everybody's got to scan their face, fill out questionnaires, and then AI is going to match people up based on compatibility.
So basically they're kind of making just a lot of people insert themselves into the database, so then the dating algorithm can match them up compatibility-wise, kind of like what our dating apps in America do, but except juiced up.
Right, juiced up and more in person. It's almost like a mixture of ancient matchmaking and Hinge, but government subsidized. Because, Andrew, Japan has declared a state of national emergency over its hyper declining birth rates. Anyway, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Check out Smile Lot Sauce, smilelotsauce.com. Sold out right now, but still more coming soon. Andrew, do you think people would want this in America? It's almost like Hinge, but doing more facial scans, doing even deeper personality questions, a little bit more like, this is what AI said you will match with Kimiko. You guys are perfect for each other.
All right, so I think that dating algorithms are probably getting better over time because they have more data and they have more data sets to go off of. I mean, you have, hopefully they're also using data from successful marriages and people who got together through the algorithm, not just meeting, but I guess meeting is the first thing, right? You just need to hit it off when you meet. So I think this is a good idea. I don't think anybody should be forced to engage with people in person if they don't want to, but at least knowing your options. So let's say this in America. Let's say all these people are having trouble dating, which a lot of people say they are, right? You plug it into this mass database.
Like Apple dating. Like if Apple iPhones were to come out with a dating database.
Yes, it takes your data and you have to approve it. And non-racial bias aside, right? Because it's just compatibility-wise by personality and maybe like socioeconomics if you want to, like, you know, by because you say you need a person
People
with a job.
are racially biased in their dating, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying the compatibility test is not racially biased. So this is interesting because if you allow people to choose on the dating apps, they're very picky. It's true. If you let them choose their height, the amount of money they want their partner to make,
they basically
the
look
race,
for their like high school fantasy dream person.
Yeah, that's what people most look to first, and then they have to learn that, hey, you know what? Maybe none of these people from this pool are going to work for me. So, but now you just want to get as many options as possible, I guess. That's what would be helpful.
First comment says, if they cut down on racism and xenophobia, the population would also increase. Just saying. Somebody said, nah, they're overworked. It's not anybody's business if they open their borders because Japan is notoriously or famously, infamously, I guess, homogenous, right?
Right.
So this was a lot of arguing because, you know, a lot of people, they move to Japan, Andrew, because a lot of people love Japan. They move there 10, 20 years. They go, oh, you know, I never felt Japanese. They never accepted me as one of them. And it just turned into like a lot of arguing about like how Japan runs its system.
Yeah, well, I think that Japan is trying to solve the issue right now before allowing like a huge influx of people because
you mean mass immigration?
Yeah, but allowing mass immigration, is that really going to solve the population problem? I guess like if the immigrants reproduce, then yes, it will create kind of like what we have in America where a lot of immigrants come, Asian, Hispanic, Black, wherever you're from, Middle East, right? They come and then they start families and then now we, the second or third generation, becomes part of the next American generation.
Yeah, I'm guessing if Japan were to let people immigrate, it's going to be from people who look relatively similar, possibly Mongolia, Korea, Northern China. Maybe that's what I'm guessing.
And they're probably going to force people to take at least a baseline Japanese language test because they want people to speak Japanese.
You have to be very proficient in Japanese to pass their fluency test on their citizenship test.
I think Japan should be a little more open, at least to immigrants who can speak the language, who took the time to learn Japanese.
We would rather use AI. We have decided against your recommendation. People were saying, please fix the work-life balance. Everybody was showing up photos of, you know, drunk salarymen. And, you know, a lot of women are not really allowed to work. I mean, it's like they are, but just not allowed to have high tier positions and things like that. Somebody said this is straight out of Black Mirror. Why does this feel like some manga's coming into life? And then somebody said you have to ban anime. Anime turns people into shut-ins and incels, and they're not out there in the dating pool meeting and greeting each other.
All right, so here the truth behind that comment is, one, I don't think you can really blame it on anime. That's kind of stupid, but
you can't.
No.
Gaming and anime is not part of it?
In general, the more virtual your life is, the less real life there is. So, because you cannot be 100% virtual and 100% in real person. There's no way.
Well, there's only 24 hours in a day, and Apple Vision Pro is not there yet.
Yeah, but even so we're at this point where, David, do you think Japan is going to solve this issue before they have to do a bunch of test tube babies and start a whole generation in a lab?
I don't know. This might be too little too late, but they are trying. I just don't know about these speed dating AI subsidies. It's just
I'm saying, what if women were paid money instead of finding love, finding marriage, and then having a kid that way, which is the old school traditional human way? These women get paid and then implanted with the embryo.
So you're saying AI is going to stand for artificial insemination? Somebody said the only solution for Japanese to make babies is to mix with Koreans and save both countries' declining populations. And then basically this was really funny because if you guys know about the history of those two countries and the way those World Series of baseballs go between those two, it's real intense.
Yo, do you think Korea and Japan are Korea's we never forget what Japan did to us, but we both kind of have the same issue right now, so maybe we can help each other.
I'm actually thinking, honestly, Mongolia is the most one where, let's be honest, I think a lot of Mongolian girls are pretty hot. So then, and there's no political history unless you want to go back to the Genghis days.
I don't know if those Mongolian girls are gonna just act like the Japanese girls, though. Stereotypically speaking.
Right. Other people said Okinawa is the one prefecture of Japan that has much higher birth rates, but a lot of people were talking about how Okinawans are actually racially a little bit more Pacific Islander, a little bit more Chinese, and the culture in Okinawa is just vastly different.
I always heard that more in the cities, though, that the birth rate things are a huge issue, but in the more rural suburb towns where people have space to have family.
Even in America, it's like that.
If you live in the burbs, you gotta have a family. What is being single in the burbs?
You're saying what's the point of living in the burbs if you ain't raising a family and keeping them safe and going to baseball and soccer?
I get it. Living in the city, you kind of want to be single, or there's so many things to do. It is true. But if you move out to the rural towns, what are you doing not having a family?
That's a good point. Hey, shout out to like you said, you can't really just go, oh, what's Okinawa doing? Well, Okinawa's completely different from Tokyo. So different, it's almost unimaginable. So, of course, that's why they have higher birth rates. You kind of got
to leave the stimulation zones a little bit.
Somebody said declining populations only seem to be a problem for pyramid-shaped government policies, basically talking about countries that are in hyper late-stage capitalism. Japan happens to be one of them. South Korea happens to be one of them, where everybody wants the newest things, the hottest whips, the hottest phones, the nicest gadgets. They want Hermes. They want Birkin bags, et cetera, et cetera. And somebody just said, yeah, it's terrible because Japan is such an advanced nation and then it's declining all around the world. But it's declining because it's advanced. It's all tied together.
Yeah. It is kind of tied together. I mean,
ultimately, what do you think, Andrew? Government subsidized AI speed dating in localities. The Japanese government is paying for it.
It seems low cost and people could do it. I think as long as because I think there's a lot of hopelessness about love. And I'm not saying this is going to solve it all because this is still going about it the old school way. But any way you can help make people quicker is what you need to do. Now, again, I'm talking about my whole futuristic new brave new world type thing where you're paying women to get pregnant with an embryo and then raising that child, and then that solves the issue of having to get married and find love. But that doesn't really solve the long-term issue of the birth rate.
I got this, bro.
All right.
So everybody goes into a database, you get matched up, and you gotta, only if you go with that person you're most compatible with, the government pays for the first date.
Wow. Let's do it, Japan. All right, everybody, we talked about that for 10 minutes. Please let us know in the comments down below what you think. And until next time, we out.
Peace.